Well, this is Teacher Staff Appreciation Week in Saskatchewan. The goal is to recognize the many contributions of teachers and staff in this province. The theme is Heroes of Education. Education Minister Everett Hindley is joining us down the line from Swift Current. Thank you so much for doing that.
Good morning, Mr. Rommelt.
Why is it so important to proclaim Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week?
Well, this has been celebrated across the country for the past, I think, 30-some odd years. And it just is a great opportunity for all of us to express our thanks, our gratitude, our appreciation to some people who have a pretty important life in each and one of our families. For those of us that have kids in the school system now, or, as any one of us can recall our time in the school system and the influence of the teachers and support staff had for us across, during our formative years. So I think just very, very important for all of us to take a little bit of time. I know school divisions at schools right across the province are doing a number of activities to celebrate the 12,000 teachers across Saskatchewan.
Who was a teacher that had an impact on your life, Everett?
You know what? As I think back to my years growing up in Melfort, there were a number of great teachers I had. I think I remember just about all their names. Mrs. Tremblay was my kindergarten teacher at Reynolds Central School in Melfort when I was a kid. Mrs. McAllister taught a grade 3-4 split, and she really nourished, I think, my interest in science at the time. And she's one, I think, that had a massive impact on my life. Mr. Streeton was my homeroom teacher in grade 5, Mrs. Johnson in grade 6, Mrs. Thompson as well earlier on there. Those are some of my elementary teachers, and of course, and then the high school had some amazing teachers as well. And I think back often about the times that I had in school and the impact and influence they had on me as a young kid growing up.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the negotiations then with the teachers across this province. You're new to the profile. Where do we stand right now? That mediation, of course, continues.
Yeah, still waiting. So, there was meetings that took place just prior to Christmas there in mid-December. And I think all sides, us included at the provincial government, are anxiously awaiting the decision of the arbitrator on the binding arbitration. So that's where it kind of sits right now, and just awaiting his final report as he looks into it and it provides, a decision on what that looks like going forward. I think that's important for all of us, us in the government, teachers, the STF, and I think just for parents as well, that seeking some clarity on what that looks like going forward as we continue to build upon a great education system, and that's going to be a foundation of that, depending on what the arbitrator comes back with.
Well aware that Saskatoon is arguing that they need the 80 EAs that are currently scheduled to be laid off. Where do we stand there? Is there anything that can be done?
Yeah, disappointing to hear the news there from that the federal government didn't approve as much funding, as I understand it, as the Saskatoon Public School Division had received previously, and that's difficult, right? The school division, the school board's trying to budget, and that's the challenge. They, as I understand it, had applied for this funding and didn't find out until just recently the amount that they were getting, and of course had already had to make some staffing decisions. We as a provincial government, same thing. We're going through our budgeting process right now as we speak, trying to build the provincial budget for the upcoming fiscal year, and of course from our perspective, from the Ministry of Education school year. So disappointing that has happened in terms of how this has been handled by the federal government, and hopefully they can find some resolution to it.
I'd like to warn you that looks like your house is being taken over by an urban jungle, kind of like my rooms in my house, Everett. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
It helps remind me of what's yet to come. I look out my window right now, and there's still 2 feet of snow on the lawn, so it hasn't gotten anywhere.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, enjoy your day in Swift Current.